Welcome back to our weekly Cybersecurity News Roundup for the week of October 30th, 2023, where we dive into cyber headlines that shaped the week to keep you informed and protected. Let's get started. We are going to start with a major story that has caused a lot of stir in the information security industry, and that is the civil complaint filed by the U.S. Security and Exchange Commission against SolarWinds and the Chief Information Security Officer. SolarWinds under SEC fire for cybersecurity misrepresentation. The Security and Exchange Commission has announced fraud charges against both the company and their CISO, Brown, for alleged misrepresentation of their cybersecurity practices and failure to disclose known risks to investors. This case stems from the period between SolarWinds' October 2018 IPO and the revelation of the Sunburst cyber attack in December 2020, which had been ongoing for nearly 2 years. SolarWinds is accused of making public statements that significantly overstated their cybersecurity measures and downplayed specific deficiencies that they were internally aware of. For instance, a 2018 internal presentation highlighted the unsecure nature of SolarWinds' remote access setup, with the engineer warning of potential undetectable exploits leading to substantial reputational and financial damage. Brown's presentations in 2018 and 2019 also painted a grim picture, acknowledging the company's vulnerable state regarding the security of critical assets. Despite these internal acknowledgments, the SEC alleges that SolarWinds continued to present a facade of robust cybersecurity to the public. Communications within the company in 2019 and 2020 further questioned SolarWinds' ability to safeguard its assets, with Brown himself expressing concern over the resilience of their systems. A document from September 2020 indicated that the volume of security issues had surpassed the engineering team's capacity to resolve them. The SEC's complaint suggests that Brown was well informed of the risks and vulnerabilities, but did not take adequate steps to address them or escalate the concerns appropriately. This alleged inaction left SolarWinds' flagship product, Orion, and other valuable assets unprotected. Following the disclosure of the Sunburst attack, SolarWinds' stock price plummeted, reflecting the market's reaction to the company's cybersecurity shortcomings. The SEC charges SolarWinds and Brown with violations of the anti-fraud provisions of the Securities Act of 1933 and the Securities Exchange Act of 1934. The SEC is seeking permanent injunctive relief, civil penalties, and an officer and director bar against Brown. There are a few key takeaways from this story. First, charges of fraud and misleading statements. SolarWinds and Brown are charged with making misleading statements in the SEC filings about the company's cybersecurity practices and known risks. This led to a significant stock drop after the disclosure of the Sunburst cyber attack. 2. Expectations for CISOs and boards. The civil charges against Brown mark a significant precedent, as it is the first time the SEC has charged a CISO with fraud. This emphasizes the importance of accurate public and internal statements regarding cybersecurity practices and risks. CISOs must ensure that public disclosures align with internal realities. The boards should maintain rigorous and transparent disclosure practices. 3. Transparency and reporting. The SEC alleges that SolarWinds claimed adherence to cybersecurity standards and practices that were not actually fully implemented. Internal documents highlighted cybersecurity gaps, but these were not disclosed to investors. 4. Implications for corporate governance. The case underscores the need for CISOs to carefully review public statements and disclosures, implement robust policies and procedures, escalate known security issues promptly, consider the scope of director and officer or D&O insurance coverage, and document internal discussions and decisions. And 5. Board responsibilities. Boards must proactively manage and disclose vulnerabilities, validate cybersecurity assurances, understand the weight of cumulative cyber risk, involve CISOs in the disclosure process, and distinguish actual from hypothetical risks in disclosures. This article serves as a cautionary tale for CISOs and boards, highlighting the SEC's increasing focus on cybersecurity in federal securities laws and the need for accurate representation of a company's cyber health in public disclosures. Next up, HHS issues first ransomware data breach fine to medical management firm. In another legal-related case, the Department of Health and Human Services, or HHS, has imposed its first ever HIPAA fine related to a ransomware data breach on a Massachusetts-based medical management firm, Doctors Management Group. The company agreed to a $100,000 settlement and will undergo 3 years of HIPAA compliance monitoring after a 2019 ransomware attack that affected nearly 207,000 individuals. HHS's Office for Civil Rights, or OCR, emphasized the growing prevalence of ransomware attacks in healthcare, which have seen a significant increase since 2019. In 2023 alone, hacking accounted for 77% of major reported breaches, impacting over 88 million individuals. The OCR investigation into Doctors Management Group revealed that the G and Crab ransomware attack was reported in April 2019, but the initial network breach occurred back in April 2017 and went undetected until December of 2018. The OCR found potential HIPAA violations, including failure to conduct a thorough security risk analysis and to regularly review information system activity reports. As part of the resolution, Doctors Management Group must implement a corrective action plan, including updating its risk analysis, revising policies and procedures to comply with HIPAA, and providing workforce training on these policies. In response, Doctors Management Group acknowledged the seriousness of the fine and stated that while no patient data was proven to be compromised, they have taken steps to enhance security, such as moving PHI to the cloud and discontinuing VPN connections. They also emphasized their ongoing work with regulators to ensure compliance and protection of patient privacy. This case highlights the importance of robust cybersecurity measures and the potential consequences of failing to protect health information adequately. It serves as a reminder for healthcare entities that maintaining comprehensive risk assessments and management practices is required to prevent and respond to cyber incidents effectively. 3. First enhances CVSS standard for sharper vulnerability severity ratings. Next, we're diving into the recent update from the Forum of Incident Response and Security Teams, also known as FIRST, which has just rolled out a major refresh of the Common Vulnerability Scoring System, or CVSS for short. For those in the know, CVSS is the standardized method used across organizations to assess the severity of software vulnerabilities. It's a critical tool that helps businesses, service providers, and governments gauge the technical severity of security flaws and prioritize their defense strategies. The latest iteration, CVSS version 4.0, brings to the table a host of enhancements aimed at providing more detailed data and reducing the ambiguities often encountered in downstream severity ratings. What does this mean for the industry? Well, it translates to a more nuanced approach to base metrics, which consumers can use to better understand the risks associated with known software flaws. First, a nonprofit collective that boasts over 650 member organizations from upwards of 100 countries has introduced several supplemental metrics for a more comprehensive vulnerability assessment. These include flags for bugs that could be automatable, think wormable, metrics for recovery and resilience, value density, the effort required for vulnerability response, and the urgency with which providers should act. A particularly noteworthy enhancement in CVSS 4.0 is its expanded applicability to operational technology, industrial control systems, and the Internet of Things. The addition of safety metrics and values to both the supplemental and environmental metric groups is a game changer, especially considering the increasing interconnectivity of our digital and physical worlds. The CVSS standard not only provides a numerical score to reflect a vulnerability's technical severity, but also translates these scores into qualitative severity ratings like low, medium, high, and critical. This system is invaluable for organizations as they assess, prioritize, and fortify their systems against cyber threats. In this latest release, FIRST emphasizes the importance of incorporating threat intelligence and environmental metrics into accurate scoring. It's a significant leap forward, equipping teams with the capabilities they need to make informed decisions in an ever-evolving threat landscape. And that concludes our look at this week's top cybersecurity stories. As the digital landscape evolves, staying informed is your first line of defense. If you found this roundup helpful, please like, share, and subscribe to be notified about new content.